So the golf balls, I mean, it's hard to argue that it's not the most important piece of your equipment, right? You use it on every single shot.
I can change wedges, I can make adjustments to the driver, but the ball always remains the same.
You know, the search for the perfect ball is an understanding on what makes a ball imperfect. That's including the materials used, the designs, aerodynamics, the processes that make the golf ball. During that pursuit, you start to understand what is lacking in the process. When I think about the 24 products, inside to out, everything has changed.
If we just iterate, it's easier. For sure it's easier. But the consumer doesn't necessarily see all that benefit.
Whether you want a golf ball that spins more around the green, or you want the maximum amount of speed that you can get in your game, or you want to hit your irons further, every detail has been looked at. The golf ball product development is probably close to 2 years, so we start to begin really the moment that its predecessor comes to market.
You know, starting with Chrome Soft, that really put Callaway on the map in a big way. Urethane product, great feel. It was a game changer out in the marketplace.
Went back to the drawing board, listened to feedback from our tour pros and from our staffers on what we really needed it for a ball for a better player.
The tour players are highly sensitive. They can detect the smallest differences.
The best players in the world, they're watching a golf ball fly every day, and they know how that golf ball is supposed to perform.
When I do testing, I look for certain windows and shapes and trajectories that I need to play with.
And so if we're designing a product for a tour player that's going to be better than what they played before, the average golfer will benefit from that as well.
A lot of the work that the R&D team does is up front to work on new materials, new technologies, new innovations that are going to come to life in the product.
Really, you start looking at, hey, what new material technologies do we have? What does the processing team have? What has the aerodynamic team been working on? And you try and pull all that together.
The design engineers essentially start with optimizing the construction of the ball. So they'll go through the core, the mantle, and all the different materials, get that all dialed in so we get the best speed, spin, and performance throughout the bag.
In our materials studies, we found a new core material that would lead to improved launch condition consistency.
We knew these other systems were out there and we wanted to kind of explore them and let's see if this rubber system is still better than this other rubber system. This new system is just basically better across the board, especially if you're manufacturing.
The formulation change itself enables us to improve our mixing.
We want to obviously generate more ball speed. That continues to be a key focus area for us. But in how we're doing that is going to deliver more consistency in those fast ball speeds. And then on the cover itself of the golf ball, we've got softer covers throughout in our entire line.
Those softer covers are going to provide better feel. They're going to provide improved consistency because they have greater engagement with the club face on shots around the greens.
So the process that we utilize to put the cover on is extremely precise, and we're able to control every aspect of that process in order to produce a cover that is extremely consistent time after time.
When you move to softer covers, which increases your spin, you got to maintain that spin with other parts of the ball. So for Chrome Tour, we didn't want to increase the spin of that golf ball. So we had to use the core to try and drop that spin down to keep that spin level the same as somebody that plays XLS currently.
And then obviously the cover, which would include kind of two components, right? Obviously the aerodynamics is part of that, and how you bring that to life is going to affect how the ball flies through the air.
I'd say in the industry, there's a challenge in making golf balls in a lab, testing in the lab, and making those results reflect what the golfer experiences out on the course. And the opportunity to improve was really centered around generating signals. How do we go about designing an experiment to maximize our test signals? And we went through and we really revamped our entire testing process.
And that goal was really around creating stability in the trajectory.
Some of the changes that we've made or improvements that we've made are the ability to track the golf ball in a downrange test to ensure that we have designs that give us the most consistent ball flight.
We've partnered with Top Tracer to really utilize their advanced tracking systems in our testing.
There are some commercially available systems that will tell you it's tracking the full length of the golf ball, but it's actually not. It tracks 60% and predicts the rest.
Essentially, we have 8 cameras tracking every shot that we hit from the robot. So then we get thousands and thousands of data points that we then come back and analyze to make sure that all these designs are flying in the right height, the right length, and the right window that they're designed to be in. So essentially, to do that, you need to be testing in low wind conditions. So we upgraded to a new sensor suite that had an ultrasonic anemometer in it, so it uses sound waves to measure not only wind speed but wind direction. We know the wind speed, wind direction for the whole duration of the flight of the ball. When you're running in low wind conditions, you're in low light, non-optimal lighting conditions. We work with Top Tracer to install 8 banks of LED lights atop the ECPC. Having those lights just gives us the flexibility to, if we need to run a test and we know it's low wind, we're able to test whenever we want in the conditions we want to test in. And that capability really allowed us to dial in the new aerodynamic packages that you're going to see on these balls.
Hey, what does it look like in the wind? How do we get something so if there's a crosswind, it doesn't push it offline too much? It's a big into the wind, it doesn't get pushed back too much, or it's downwind, it doesn't get pushed far too much, right? It's trying to minimize that window that the ball is landing in and that it's flying in.
We worked with the aerodynamic engineers here to kind of bring the ball flight down, keep it more stable, that more penetrating flight that a Tour Pro is looking at. It allows that ball to fly better in all variety of conditions, low wind, high wind, crosswind, downwind. So it's just going to keep that ball true and more stable throughout.
This motivation, I think, comes from us internally wanting to be the best. We want to become number one. It really gives us the freedom to explore and really push the industry into spaces that it hasn't gone before.
Sam Burns, Xander Schauffele, Rose Zhang, they want to bring more precision into their game. They're going to have the ability to hit more precise shots and get incrementally better as a result of the performance and the precision that we're bringing to their game.
Having that ball perform at the highest of levels at playing on the PGA Tour, it's super important.
It's great if the ball performs the way you want it to. It's tough to be perfect, so it's quite nice when the ball and the equipment matches up together, and you can go out there with as much confidence as you can and hit somewhat of the shots that you would like to hit.
Ultimately, the 2024 product is we've poured everything into it that we know right now, and ultimately, why would someone switch into this product from the competition? Number one is performance. That is the drive for a switch. And then what we're doing on precision technology is what's going to keep them playing that golf ball.
We make a ball that's going to be the best ball out there, and I think people are going to see it in the performance numbers. And
it really goes back to this idea that every detail matters, and whatever is important to your game or the most important piece to your game, we will have that within the Chrome family of golf balls, and I think that will be super beneficial to all golfers.